So my buddies and I the other day were watching this movie 2012, and I don't know if you've seen this or even heard of it. It's a movie about this massive flood that wipes out all of humanity, kind of how the Mayan calendar predicted. And when watching this, it took me back to when I was a kid, because growing up I heard the story of Noah and how the Lord told Noah to build an ark because he was going to send a flood that was going to wipe out all of humanity, and Noah and his family were going to be spared on this ark. And when you hear these stories as a kid, you don't think much of it. You hear the stories and you think that's great and you go about your business, but as you get older, thoughts and questions start to pop in your head like, well, was this an actual global flood or did it just affect a certain area? And I know some of you might think, well, it's not really that big of a deal, but to me it is, because I'm a new father of a baby boy, and when he gets older, if he comes up to me and he asks me these questions, if I can't give him a straight answer, he's gonna go around his whole life doubting anything he's ever believed or learned or heard. He's gonna doubt his mother and myself, and I don't wanna send him down that road. So I did my research, and believe it or not, I came across over 200 totally separate religions and culture groups throughout all of human history that have the exact same flood type story. Now, the only difference with these stories is the names used and the gods used in the stories. And let's be honest, in a world where we can't agree on anything, the only two things we can agree on are: one, you treat your neighbor the way you'd want to be treated, and two, there's some type of flood story floating around out there. So whether it's Atlantis or Noah or Gilgamesh or Deucalion, whether this was a global flood or whether it just affected a certain area, whether it even happened, I don't know, but I will say this: there's no geological evidence of that much water covering the entire planet. You would need a water balloon the size of Pluto, fill it up with water, and pop it all over the earth to get that much water. So I just find it far-fetched, but that's why I turn to you. What do you make of this flood story? If your child came up to you and they asked you these questions, do you know enough to give them a solid answer? What would you tell them?